Mike from Ulap. Today I'll provide an overview of CYBO, our generative AI solution for defensive cyber operations. CYBO integrates AI agents with explainable AI capabilities, giving users detailed, verifiable network intelligence through human-centric transparency. Developed to meet mission requirements from U.S. Cyber Command and U.S. Army Cyber Protection Brigade, CYBO follows the DoD DevSecOps reference architecture. Additionally, CYBO runs on Sarah, our secure and scalable inference engine. Sarah and other applications we have developed have passed CDSO scans along with third-party penetration testing, qualifying it for IL4 and IL5 deployments supporting current big data platforms and other data lake technologies. CYBO currently enables users the ability to explore and gain rapid insights into networks via a simple and secure chat prompt. This allows users to generate network diagrams and identify network boundaries, view devices on the network, who these devices are communicating with, and which protocols are being used. Additionally, CYBO integrates with device enrichment and threat intelligence feeds, providing users with full visibility into a network and its devices. All right, now I will provide an overview and demonstration of CYBO. As you can see here on this user interface, CYBO provides a really quick way to discover information on your network. Now you could interact directly with CYBO itself, or you could also work with the Alex ecosystem to integrate existing and custom analytics or run other machine learning models that are not directly available within CYBO. Okay. Now we're going to work with CYBO's prompts. So the first thing we'll do is work with identifying and generating a network diagram. So I'll just quickly go ahead and paste in this prompt here that I want to work with and go ahead and click return. And then CYBO is going to go off and start analyzing the data that's sitting into the collection that's already been provided to CYBO, and then start interacting with devices in the conlog and trying to figure out who they're communicating with, how they're communicating, and then any other type of like network relevant traffic information that CYBO can provide. So CYBO will do all that behind the scenes, and then once it's processed the data, it'll generate an accurate network diagram for you to review and process. Okay, now you can see that CYBO has started to return some results. Through the power of video editing, I did accelerate it, but you can see here that it took CYBO about 19 seconds to go through and analyze the network information and provided some quick highlights here, along with you can see some of our initial explainable AI concepts around the response rating, any bias information, along with the network summary information here. So if something's highlighted with a specific color, you could go here and start clicking in more. So you can start to see, verification is recommended, incorrect conclusion because it is looking at specific data sets. And then also you got to start to look at, we are looking at specific MAC addresses here. So we can go ahead and close that out and then go ahead and navigate further down to look at the analysis that was done. And then you could also see here the breakdown that CYBO has used within the data set behind the scenes, along with you can click into the data visualization here. So you can start to see quickly between the internal network, multicast, along with external devices. And if I want to look at this a little bit bigger, I could go ahead and click on the maximize piece here and then start drilling into the actual endpoints on the network itself. And then you can start to look to see any information that around like the external IP address, the protocol, and then also like what type of information it was doing on the network itself. Now, if I wanted to continue doing some further analysis on this network, I could go ahead and start looking at, providing CYBO with some additional prompts. So I just wanted to kind of verify how many computers are on this network. So I'll go ahead and pass that in to CYBO and go forward with that. And then again, CYBO is going to go off and start looking at doing counts on the network behind the scenes. And then the analyst or the user for CYBO doesn't have to go forward with any specific, programming or technical capabilities to interact with this data. So we'll give CYBO another minute, and then it should go ahead and give us a pretty quick response here. Okay, so now you can see CYBO came back in about 7, almost 8 seconds, and you can say there's about 64 computers that are on this device or on this network. and then you can start to see any information here. If you really want to, you could also see a quick bar count that was produced by CYBO automatically. Okay, now that we've been able to generate a network diagram, see which devices are on the network, and identify communication patterns and then also network boundaries, I thought it'd be interesting to start to explore how these devices are interacting with each other, and more specifically, trying to see how they're interacting with DNS. So one of the things that we could do with CYBO was start to see what are the top queried domains via DNS. So we'll go ahead and pass in another prompt to CYBO, and we can start to see what are the top domains that are being queried by devices on the network, and really start to get a better picture of what's going on within the network itself. Okay, now you can see that CYBO has returned the top 10 most queried domains via DNS. So you can start to see there's a lot of internal addresses using both IPv4, IPv6 addresses. It's also important that these might not represent distinct domains. You could also start to come in here and drill into the response rating, get information here to see how CYBO has executed the analysis behind the scenes, along with any bias detection, to see if CYBO had any specific concerns around the data collection or the attribution or just the overall score that was associated along with the rubric around it, along with the summary. You could also see here a detailed analysis of the summary. You can see a high number of DNS queries could be a potential to indicate DNS amplification attacks, DNS tunneling, or some other malicious activities. Therefore, we want to kind of dig in further. Why don't we take this a step further now and start looking at the response codes being provided within the data. So again, we'll provide CYBO with another prompt and send that over to the system for processing. All right, so we can see we got a response back in about 7.5 seconds. We could see some quick analysis of it. We could see different spots here, but the query that was processed, along with a data visualization. So you can start to see no error, NX domain, and serve fail. And you can start to see that, overall there's a pretty good breakdown. But maybe I want to get some more information on what is NX domain in the DNS world. So I could come back in here and provide another prompt into CYBO to get some further information on that. So now we can start to see like what is NX domain, and you can see it's not necessarily related to the direct data set that CYBO is processing, but CYBO has gone off and figured out that within DNS that is a response code that indicates the domain name does not exist in DNS. And then you can start to see it gives you some other information, um, and you can start to further process the information on that. And then you could also get any types of graphics that could potentially come back. So why don't we go ahead and see if there's any bad domains going on inside this network. So we could go forward and start processing this. So one of the things that CYBO does, as I mentioned previously in this video, is that CYBO goes ahead and enriches IP addresses to figure out where they are geographically. It enriches MAC addresses to see what types of devices are sitting on the network. That also brings in threat intelligence feeds, so we can start to understand what types of maybe vulnerabilities or attacks are potentially on a network, if anything. So from that point of view, when we ask CYBO a question about are there any bad domains in the network, it's going to look at the domain data that's available both internally and externally to CYBO and give information. And so you can start to see here, yes, the domain tumble property has been identified as a C2 threat as part of an existing ransomware suite. You can start to see it start to talk about information from the Joint Cybersecurity Advisory and has marked it as a high risk indicator. So I could also start to get information here from CYBO itself about that ransomware itself. So I could pull in a PDF. I could go through the 31 pages about it. Or if I want, I could come back and download that for later. I could also start to get some other information about the bias analysis because CYBO's telling me to verify. So I'm going to come in here and start to figure out part of the feedback that CYBO is saying. The domain tumble property is identified as a C2 threat, as we had talked about earlier. And then you can start to see is there any bias that the rubric has identified. So the product is saying that the response lacks caveats and provides a strong certainty about this, and so maybe we should start to look further. You could also see that it has uh, specific information coming from CISA.gov. Maybe we want to dig in further. So if we want to get more information on this specific domain, why don't we go ahead and ask CYBO directly? So we can start saying, hey, CYBO, what information do you have on tumbleproperty.com? And really start to figure out what's going on with this domain. So this is where CYBO's enrichment capabilities really start to showcase how it could help a analyst or threat practitioner. Similarly to the previous answer where we said, are there any bad domains? Now CYBO's drilling into the property itself. So we could start to dig in here. We could get a similar PDF about the domain itself, along with the response rating. You could drill in further to the analysis summary and start to see that in the realm of cybersecurity, analysis of the domain tumble property has identified it as a command and control or a C2 server. Another ransomware, we're going back as far as 2022, and should definitely be further analyzed. You could also see which information the CYBO has identified in terms of like how it was processing the back end. You could also see the data being visualized in terms of how Tumble property is interacting, only sending bytes out. This concludes our introduction and demonstration of CYBO. If you have any further questions or want to learn more, please go to ulap.co and contact us directly.